Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll start talking about time value of money, which is the first reading of quantitative methods study session for the CFA Level 1 exam. The concepts discussed in this reading are not only important for the CFA exam, but as a finance professional, you'll be using these tools regularly. I hope you have seen our previous videos, Introduction to Time Value of Money Calculations for CFA Level 1, and Introduction to Cash Flow Calculations for CFA Level 1. If you haven't done so, I'll strongly advise that you see these two videos first and get familiar with basic concepts before we move ahead in this study session. You can find these videos under the CFA Level 1 Fundamentals playlist, which is Module 0, and the links are given below this video in the basic info section. So, let's start talking about time value of money. What exactly is the meaning of time value of money? Let's say I offer you $1,000 and I give you two options. You could either have it today or you could have it after a year. Which option would you choose? Of course, option 1, right? This is because you know that you could either invest those $1,000 today to get a higher amount of money after a year, or you could spend that $1,000 to buy something that may be more expensive in future. So, as you can see, $1,000 today is much more valuable than $1,000 1 year from now. That is, money has a time value. The sooner we get, the more valuable it is. Now let's talk about the first learning outcome, which states interpret interest rates as required rates of return, discount rates, or opportunity costs. Interest rate signifies how quickly your money grows if you are an investor. In simple terms, a higher interest rate implies a quicker growth of your money. Now, interest rates can be interpreted in a number of ways, and the CFA curriculum requires you to understand the above three interpretations. So let's go through them one by one. Required rates of return. Every investor needs some financial motivation to invest his money. The required rate of return is the interest rate that an investor requires to loan or invest his money for a particular investment, considering the risk involved in investing. Let's say I have $1,000 and you want to borrow it from me for a year. Now, I need to have some financial motivation to give my money to you. Let's say I want at least $1,100 after a year to give my money to you. Now, this additional $100 is my financial motivation to loan the money to you. In simple terms, I'm making $100 on my investment of $1,000 in a year. So my rate of return is 10%. The required rate of return is the minimum interest rate that will convince an investor to invest his money for any particular investment. As can be expected, the required rate of return will vary for different investments. Now let's talk about discount rates. Interest rates can also be called discount rates as the future payments are discounted at this rate to arrive at the present value of the future payment. For our previous example, the discount rate is 10% as the future payment of $1,100 at the end of 1 year, when discounted at 10%, yields $1,000 today. Required rate of return and discount rate are terms that are used interchangeably. They imply the same interest rate. Finally, let's talk about opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the cost of spending the money now rather than investing. This is the lost value that the money could have earned if it was invested rather than spending it today. And it is given in terms of interest rate as well. For our previous example, the opportunity cost of current consumption will be 10% as the investor would lose the benefit of earning 10% if he spends the money today. Please note that all these three terms represent interest rate, but they explain interest rate from different perspectives. Required rate of return is the interest rate from an investor's perspective, discount rate is the interest rate from a borrower's perspective, and opportunity cost is the interest rate from a consumer's perspective. This brings us to the end of this video. In the next video, we will talk about the second learning outcome, various components of interest rate. If you like this video, please do not forget to hit like and subscribe for more. You can also visit our blog at the link shown.